Well, comprehensive school in the south of the Netherlands, in Gulpen. So we attract all kinds of people, all kinds of backgrounds. It's more or less, it's an area where there's a shrinking population, but the population we do have at school is relatively wealthy, I think. We offer all kinds of education from vocational to pre-university. And I mostly teach at the pre-university level. We've been working with modules, as we call it, at our school. There used to be 10 weeks of 2 teaching hours, which is 50 minutes per hour, so 10 weeks of 100 minutes that teachers could fill in their own way. So students could subscribe to one of those modules. And I started off doing a module on international skills, I think 6-7 years ago, and made my own material because I've got the impression that the Netherlands is a country that is very dependent on other countries. Universities in the Netherlands often teach in English, and they would attract people from other countries as well. So I thought it would be good for our students to be involved in something like that. So that's why I offered it, and I usually had about 20 takers for this module. So it's been going on for about 6-7 years at our school. Well, I definitely think it's important because the world is getting smaller and students are, well, I don't think students will be able to live their life, well, present day students won't be able to live their lives without working, studying or, well, communicating with people abroad, and, well, you need competencies for that. Well, apart from what's happening in other subjects, if I look at the module I did, was try to make them aware of how people abroad look at the Dutch, how we look at other people. I focused in what I did more on stereotypes and prejudices and things like that, and showed them, well, where they were wrong or to what extent they were wrong, because sometimes they're not. Challenges with the group I didn't have that many challenges because they volunteered to do this. On the other hand, you do have some people with very preconceived ideas, and you need to, well, I usually told them stories that I had gone through myself. For example, I was not very keen on German people because my father was put to work in a camp during the war, and he never talked about that. And I learned through international contacts that that is completely stupid, completely wrong. And I always tell my students about that and say, well, you know, this is how I had this stupid prejudice, and this is how I overcame it. And I think all of you can do this. Yeah, because this year was the first time that we didn't do 10 weeks with 2 lessons, but we had 20 weeks with 1 lesson. And during those 20 weeks, you could see some of them thinking differently. For example, there was one guy who was really thinking, oh, well, you know, I'm very worldly wise and I know everything, etc. And then he got this, well, the result of his survey, and he thought, I'm not that. And then he really worked on trying to, well, really get these competencies and not thinking that you have them. Well, the support was that we had this module, so as it was in place already, it was quite simple to do. But I could imagine that if they would scrap the module, I would have a problem doing this, because then I would have to do it during my normal lesson time. Well, I think what helped me do it was, well, first of all, think about what I would like to learn myself, and also sharing personal experiences. You always see students, sometimes they think, okay, well, this is all nice, but it's theory. But when you share some personal experiences, they are instantly more interested and motivated, and they are also willing to share some of their personal ideas, and I think that's always works.